Good morning. Yeah. So it seems journalists like me, writers like me are welcome everywhere, be it a forum of hospitals or hospitality industry, manufacturers. The reason is that I think now almost every company in any sector has become or is in the process of becoming a media company. Before coming here, I had a word with Mr. Srivatsan of Kaveri Hospital, and he said that they are producing nothing less than 100 plus articles in a month. I said, you are running a media organization within a hospital. So I would like to touch upon a few things about social media and then the print or traditional media. See, this, explosion of media, about 10, 20 years ago, it was not there. When I took my first job as a journalist, it was for a small time publication, 20 years, in the late 90s. Then there were only two major publications in Chennai. One is the Hindu and the next one is the Indian Express. If I were to get a job, a decent paying job, then I had to apply either for this or that publication. Only two publications. So, and then other north-based publications entered, but the real boom came after the internet. As I said, all, even business organizations had to set up their website, and then they had to establish their presence in social media and constantly feed. Now, why do you need digital content and why do you need content marketing? Why do you need writers like me? It's very obvious. You can reach to a global reach is there, and you can share your unique perspectives and attract return and in terms of footfall or walk-ins, whatever term that you can use. For this address, I would like to categorize media into two broad categories. One is social media, which also includes digital website and blog, YouTube, and other digital platforms. And the next would be traditional media, which is, I think, still being dominated by print, as well as TV, and even to some extent radio. So these two categories, let me have that for this speech at least. Let me first take up the digital or social media part of it. So social media is nothing, essentially it is about conversations that people have among themselves, and if you remove conversations from social media, what you have is a dead platform, dead digital platform. So our objective, our goal is either we have to create content and engage with our customers, potential customers or other external stakeholders, or find out what are the conversations going on around our topic and we have to get engage with the conversation. These are the two possible ways I see how brands, especially healthcare brands, can get into social media in a meaningful way. But usually what happens is that the social media or content generation part, that function comes usually under marketing team or sales team directly. There's nothing wrong in it. Maybe internally you may think that a marketing or sales team is more appropriate to handle this content, this field, this domain. But what happens is that the framework that marketing or sales team go by looks something like this. So you create awareness that your hospital exists, that you are doing this kind of, what type of services, specializations you have, and what are your core strengths. So you create awareness first. This is called sales funnel. So create awareness first, and then what you do, it could be an event or it could be a promotional offer, advertisement, Facebook update, anything. Then you try to create interest and desire. Why do you create interest and desire? Because some action that you have in mind, you want to take that action to take place. Bluntly, it is sale. That is, you have in mind that X number of, now that I have invested so much in creating content, I expect X number of people to buy my services. So this is called sales funnel. But I think from the context that we have for say social media, which is purely about engagement, I think we have to flip this model. This model may not directly work. If we keep on investing with the sales in mind, then it may not work. And I would like to offer this model. When you flip that inverted pyramid, it becomes a regular pyramid. And the bottom of the pyramid are followers. Let me use few labels for me to drive home the key message. One is followers. Followers are people who want to know what you do. They like your updates. They at least regularly glance at whatever topics, whatever content that you create, watch video and everything, because they really want to follow you. And the next would be the next level of engagement. They want to know what you do, but they also want their close circle of friends know what you do. That is, they forward your content, they spread your message to their inner circle. So they become evangelists. We need a new title because the level of engagement is going up. And then there are a set of people who act like your disciples. They do what you ask them to do, what you want them to do. Suppose you run a poll or a survey, or you want their feedback, you ask them to create a brand slogan, and they can create. Whatever they do, they keep aside whatever they are doing and give their time, attention and effort for you to create, for you to carry out the instructions that you give them. So that is another deep, much deeper level of engagement that they have with your brand. They can be called evangelists. And finally, creators, or you can call them co-creators. So this model, I call it social pyramid. So creators are those who do what you do. That doesn't mean that you are a healthcare provider and they also they cannot become a healthcare provider, but some of the activities that you have to do, they come forward to do. In non-medical context, I can give one example. Like, there are software companies that run powerful communities. So suppose a new customer wants to get some understanding about their product, about the software, and they pose a new question, a very basic question. Even before your customer support team steps in, you will have the existing users of your product answering the newbie questions. So there are communities, the customer support is your role, but they are doing it on your behalf. That much engagement is there, that much they like your product. And in medical industry, there are communities of health conscious individuals, there are communities of survivors of a particular disease, and they do all the, they engage on your behalf with the potential stakeholders. So this is, this social pyramid is just to give an understanding that the idea of you entering into any social media or digital media engagement is to this arrow mark. Try to increase the level of engagement of you for your followers. That is the name of the game. Engagement is the name of the game, not sale per se. But if you create engagement, then naturally, as the previous speaker, Mr. Muhammad Ilyas said, eventually he said education, I am using another engagement, but the more you engage, definitely the results will, the actual results that actual metrics that you have, the ROI will follow. It may look something like this. Return on investment is definitely not the very right, appropriate term you should be keeping. ROI is not a very appropriate term. I would say engagement on investment, EOI, and then engagement, ROE. So some kind of, you have to focus on engagement, and then engagement will give you lots of other objectives that you might, business objectives, business goals that you have. There is a study done by a popular digital media guru. His name is Kevin Kelly. He says that whether it is an individual or a brand, what we need are 1,000 true fans. He uses the term true fans. It is his own terminology that says that you just focus on creating true fans, then they will, you will get your results. So that is the objective. And how do hospitals do that? Obviously by creating content, and what type of content, and in which platform, and how frequently you have to produce content. All these things that we have to work. We have to do the strategy part very clearly for this to work. I would say we have done, individually in my capacity, I have done some studies for my clients in healthcare industry, and I think the content that people are looking for could fall under 5 P's. One is definitely patient story. What your patients say about their experience, how they were treated in the hospital. If you could find out, if you can generate some video or some content that should not look like a pure marketing testimonial, but somehow an authentic piece, that is something that sells well, that ticks for social media. And the second thing is, hospitals are not just buildings. Hospitals, people come to you because you have good doctors. So try to get some content created around doctors or other healthcare professionals, physicians or other healthcare professionals, surgeons. And third is your products. Definitely, it is all, medical industry is very becoming very technology intensive. So we need to show what kind of technology we have, be it latest scan products or any other diagnostic tools, or you name it, robotic surgeries now going up, picking up. So we have to create content around the products that we have. And the third and the fourth could be the practices, be it national guidelines, clinical best practices. What do you do when the moment patient walks into your hospital, and before he or she gets discharged, what are the methods, what are the protocols that you follow? That is something people are very keen to know. So that content can be created around that topic. And the last P is much more important, which is about creating preventive care related content. It definitely is a preventive care or pre-hospital care, or it could be even home remedy or lifestyle modifications. Those content, because most of your fan and followers are not patients but health conscious individuals for healthcare brands. This is not the case only in India. Anywhere in the world, the focus is on all these 5 P's, and you choose the platform, you choose the content strategy for this. I would like to show one short video, and this video, I would say, had launched a brand for an already well-established hospital, but on social media, this single video created lots of following and lots of expectations online. It was an old video, still it is being referred to. Can I have the videos, please?
Happy morning, happy morning, happy morning. What do I have in my pocket? Oh, my business card. What else should I have in my pocket? A loading dose. What is it you are saying, loading dose? Everybody carries an ID card or a business card, but nobody carries a loading dose. This is a life-saving 1 minute interview with you. Do you want to save your own life? Do you want to save a very close friend's life, a father, mother's life? Carry with you loading dose. This loading dose consists of 3 medicines. Aspirin, dispirin, 325 milligrams. Clopidogrel, 300 milligrams. Atorvastatin, 80 milligrams. There are 3 tablets. The names of the tablets and the dosage is given in the same video. These 3 tablets are kept in a pocket. Keep it in your pocket all the time. Don't you keep your visiting card, your credit card? Don't you keep some 100 rupees, 500 rupees in the pocket? All these things cannot save life. This loading dose can save life. Sir, what is this? This is a life-saving tablets. When do I take it? When you are a potential person to get a heart attack. That is called vulnerable person. Am I vulnerable? Yes. You are vulnerable if you have high blood pressure. You are vulnerable for a heart attack if you have cholesterol, high cholesterol. You are vulnerable if you have diabetes mellitus, sugar complaint, cholesterol complaint, high BP. Your father, mother had a high blood pressure, you will have a high blood pressure. Your father, mother had a heart attack, you will get a heart attack. You are a person who is always tense here, shouting, angry, and you are a little depressed. Your lifestyle is a lazy lifestyle. You take everything fast food. You are a potential candidate for a heart attack. Sir, how do I know a heart attack? The symptoms of heart attack are very subtle. Chest pain, gas trouble, pain in the left arm, pain in the neck, pain in the back, unexplained sweating, little bit of a weakness, I am feeling giddy. Sir, last month I checked, I had no heart attack. Yes, you can get heart attack at any age. From the age of 25, 26, 30, 40, 50, 80. Hey Baba, on a Sunday morning you get chest pain. What do? I call an emergency ambulance or call for a doctor. It will take 1 hour, 2 hours by the time you reach medical help. You take this loading dose, 3 tablets, you swallow it with a cup of water. If you have a gas trouble, you take one Digene or a Ranitidine. This will give you 3 hours of extension of the golden hour.
So this video for healthcare, for doctors, it may be boring, but this is highly useful, very engaging for a patient who doesn't know much about the heart issues. And this video was taken very casually. I was working with this brand, so it was a very casual video, and it launched, it created lots of ripples. And then people at KG Hospital took to internet very seriously, and even today, once a while, those who are very IT savvy or social media, watch social media channels, then one video or the other keeps coming from Dr. Bhaktavachalam. So sometimes one viral video is enough for you to get noticed. Okay. So now that you know that engagement is important and content is very important, how do we do? There are many agencies. The routine, the traditional route is that, the off-taken road is that, there are many digital marketing agencies that can come and tell you that they can create social media presence for you. They can show you the deliverables, X number of posts on Facebook, X number of posts on Twitter, and Instagram, X number of reels and all the deliverables, and end of the month they can come and again come with the list of deliverables they have met, they have achieved as discussed. So definitely you need some external help, but the right way, in my experience of working with a few brands, having worked with them, the right way is, or the more optimal way is to nurture your own team. Definitely you need an in-house team with writers, with analysts. Analysts are required for you to tell which content is working on which platform, and you are engaging with what type of audience. Definitely you need analysts also. And then you also need some technology people to integrate or customize an app, and designers and who create visuals. And after listening to the previous speakers, I think you don't even need a designer because AI is here. But luckily, as he also said that don't believe AI completely. So you need an internal team. Maybe initially you need someone to do, because it's entirely a media operation. You need to talk media language. In terms of creating editorial calendar, for instance, you have to create content in advance, and you need a calendar so that your blog posts are consistent, your operations are consistent, and quality is at a media level, at a mass media level. So definitely you need to, if you have an internal team, maybe you can hire a digital agency to do the piloting for you, in the hand holding for you for the first few months, and after that, if possible, with your own team, if you could do, you could hand over your social media operations. It will be on a longer run. It will be a great return on investment for you. You can consistently produce the content, and the content will be very engaging, impactful and meaningful. So before, and then the next part, as I said, the first is social media. Now I would like to get into the traditional media. Before that, a short video.
Emma. Huh? Emma. Emma.
Every day it's getting on my nerves.
Emma.
Oh, I'm
Emma.
begging you, please.
Emma.
Leave me alone. Oh, you
So print media is still powerful. Traditional media is very important. Though, the readers of newspapers, we get surveys informing us that readership level is across the world coming down, but still the influential readers, influential influencers are there in the traditional media. So there is, it is definitely, we have to pay. In the healthy media mix, your traditional media has to figure. You have to give equal importance for the print media. So when it comes to print media, there used to be a bestseller titled Fall of Advertising and Rise of Public Relations. Fall of Advertising and Rise of PR, written by Aldrich. And the main argument is that don't depend only on advertisement. Try to leverage the strength of public relations. PR is a very important tool. That's the core message of the book. But I don't think advertising is falling. You definitely need advertisement, because you cannot get work coverage only through your public relations. For sure, advertisement has its own premium. I'm not suggesting that way. But for public relations, the focus of my rest of my speech is on public relations. And public relations, when you public relations is not just about print relations. For any traditional media where you are not going to pay, you need something to carry with you to engage with the journalist here. And that piece of product is your press release. So press release, you know, is we create news like wearing the hat of a journalist. We write our own news and present it to distribute it to the media houses. That is the purpose of press release. Is a working horse as far as traditional media is concerned. But I also have to admit that press releases, the failure rate is so high and success rate is very less, obviously. So the reason is that, I know I'm not talking to writers here, but broadly I would like to bring to your attention 3 important areas where press releases fail. Why press releases are not getting picked up by journalists. Maybe 3 areas, 3 things, 3 missing elements are there. And number 1 is that any press release is a news story, and any story, whether it is news or fiction, must have 3 important characters. 3 important characters of a story: villain, victim, and hero. MGR, Nambiar, and damsel in distress. It could be any heroine. So in our case, a villain is a disease or a disorder. If we are in the context of a regular medical press release, villain is the disease and disorder, victim or patients, and the hero, our treatment or our surgical intervention, our infrastructure, it could be anything. That is the hero. So any story, especially in the headline, if you are not able to identify clearly who the 3 characters are, then the chances of the press release getting picked up by a journalist comes down. Because journalists receive at least 6, 7 or 12 sometimes. I was a journalist also once. So 10, 12 emails hit our inboxes with various press releases. So it has to be very catchy. The news has to come in the headline itself. I'll show one sample here. Rela Hospital performs liver transplant on Sri Lankan scientist. Here, this headline, of course, has a hero, Rela Hospital, and victim is a Sri Lankan scientist, and the transplant surgery is the hero. Correct? You have all the 3 elements. But it is not very catchy, because Rela performing liver transplant, what is news? They are doing day in and day out. So what is news in Rela performing a liver transplant? So we have to add other elements. So identifying other challenges that the hospital faced. The Sri Lankan patient was, it's of course a real release, real press release. So he had to travel here from Sri Lanka in a cargo flight, and then this thing was done, surgery was done during the COVID pandemic period amid lockdown restrictions. So the chances of getting the attention of journalists is more with the second sample. And the second point is that each story has, again fiction or real life story, including your patient stories, can have a regular flow. It is called, there is a framework, there is a structure. In writer's circle, this structure is very familiar. You know, there are few elements, smooth beginning, trigger, and things like that. Even in the context of a patient, he or she leads a very normal life, goes to work, comes back home, and no health issues. That is a smooth beginning, and suddenly there is a trigger. Maybe she meets with an accident or develops a problem like a chest pain or whatever. The trigger starts, and then there is a rising action. Gets admitted in a hospital, and you try to you run a battery of tests and figure out what is the exact problem. And once you diagnose, accurate diagnosis done, and you prepare the course of treatment, that reaches the point of climax, and then falling action. That is, everything is, it is just a matter of executing your treatment plan. So there are no challenges, and finally the resolution part. The tumor is removed, or the major obstacle is removed, and the patient gets discharged and goes back to lead a new normal life. After the intervention, usually it is not a normal life. Some dietary restrictions, some follow-up, some medications, all these things are there. So it is a new normal. Very beautifully it fits. This was invented or created by a German novelist called Freytag 150 years ago, analyzing lots of stories. But even in our case, in a patient's case, I hope you would agree that this is how things happen in life. So, but our press release is not a story. You cannot say once upon a time. It cannot have a beginning like once upon a time kind of a beginning. Press release anatomy is totally different. If you don't follow that anatomy, I have come up with this anatomy. It looks like a fish tank, a disjointed one at that. One L and flipped L on the other side. Just a rearrangement of these elements. Like climax, you have to first address the climax, the surgery, and then the resolution, and then the new normal. After that, the rest of the information can be brought in. What was the livelihood of the patient, and when did this occur, problem trigger happened, and all these things can come in the rest of the story. So the usual mistake in press release is that news gets buried somewhere inside the, it is not presented in the top of the story, not in the lead paragraph. But following the structure can be little tricky as well. Again, I have 2 samples for you. One is, the first lead paragraph, let me read it out for you. Meenakshi Mission Hospital successfully treated a 25-year-old school teacher who was diagnosed with GFAP astrocytopathy, a rare autoimmune disease, using steroid medication. Here, steroid medication is highlighted because that is, shown as a hero here, important thing. But read the second sample, you will know the difference. Meenakshi Mission Hospital successfully treated a 25-year-old school teacher by promptly diagnosing GFAP astrocytopathy, a rare autoimmune disease that imitates symptoms of various nervous disorders and often eludes standard microbiological tests. So the actual news is there, not the steroid treatment, because it is dime a dozen, it is not very extraordinary, but promptly identifying this particular disease, which is very, it dodges the usual test. Making the prompt diagnosis is the news. So that has to be brought out in the lead paragraph itself. That is the actual news. So identifying that news is very important to make your press releases much more successful. And finally, the most important element of a very good press release is that we have to avoid using medical grade words or jargon. This news item appeared, to my great surprise, in a daily. I don't want to name the daily, it is the #1 daily, and the news, the hospital is again India's #1 corporate hospital. I think even medical professionals, some of them may not understand what is being conveyed here. Doctors at XYZ hospital have performed thrombolysis therapy with alteplase and tenectase on blah blah blah. So many medical jargon, and some accidentally this news has appeared, I would say, in this thing on a mainstream newspaper. See, press release with traditional media, we are not writing for medical journals. We are writing for layman. So we have to understand, use layman's language for our press releases. Otherwise, what happens is journalists have to do the work for you. They have to find out what is the meaning of alteplase or tenectase or other medical terms. So nobody has that much time. So again, if these three, there are other bottlenecks as well, hindrances as well. So if you can take care of these areas, then the chances, the success rate of press releases go up. The point is, again, I'm coming back to the same point that you have to hire writers. You need your team. You need professionals who are good at writing. You cannot rely on medical professionals. You cannot expect them unless you employ people like Dr. Atul Gawade. Otherwise, coming out with a press release having all the news characteristics is very difficult. In the end, I would like to, so this is one example, rising screen time linked to surge in esotropia cases in children is little technical, not very accessible or readable. At the risk of, using a term with little negative connotation, we have to still go for a personal suggestion. I would say squint eye is better than the earlier term. So words like heart attack is better than myocardial infarction. Femur, no one understands. Thigh bone is better. So you have to free your press release of the medical jargon to get the likely result, the desirable result for you. So let me end with one takeaway, which is you already have your doctors, healthcare professionals on your roll. You already have your support team like housekeeping or finance or admin. You have them. I think it's high time, if you're really serious about social media or traditional media, you need your content team in-house. That will produce your engagement on investment, and then return on engagement, and then return on investment also. Thank you so much.